Your life feels scattered. Your attention pulls in 1,000 directions. You start the day with good intentions, but by noon, you're drowning in distractions, reacting to notifications, chasing dopamine hits, living everyone else's priorities except your own. What if I told you that 3 ancient lessons, practiced by Roman emperors and philosophers over 2,000 years ago, could help you reclaim your focus, rebuild your discipline, and redesign your life around what actually matters? What if the answer isn't another productivity app, but a complete rewiring of how you see yourself and your time? Let's get real. Losing focus isn't a personal failure. It's not because you're weak or broken. You're living in the most distraction-rich environment in human history. Your attention is a battlefield, and billion-dollar companies are waging war for every second of it. But here's the thing. The ancient Stoics faced their own versions of chaos. Marcus Aurelius ran an empire while dealing with plagues, wars, and betrayals. Seneca navigated the murderous politics of Nero's court. Epictetus went from slavery to becoming one of history's greatest teachers. They didn't have smartphones, but they had the same human mind you do, prone to distraction, anxiety, and losing sight of what matters, and they developed a system to cut through the noise. Today, we're unpacking 3 Stoic lessons that will help you refocus your life. These aren't abstract theories. They're mental tools you can use today to regain control, rebuild discipline, and live with clear intention. The first lesson is about how you see the world. The Stoics called this the discipline of perception, and it's based on one revolutionary idea. It's not what happens to you that matters, it's how you interpret it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed and you haven't been." This sounds almost too simple, but it's the foundation of everything. Think about your last bad day. What made it bad? Was it the traffic, the rude email, the unexpected expense? Here's what the Stoics understood. None of those things are inherently bad. They're neutral events. What makes them bad is the judgment you layer on top. Traffic isn't bad. It's just cars moving slowly. Your interpretation, "This is ruining my day. I'm going to be late. This always happens to me." That's what creates the suffering. Now, I'm not saying you should be delusional or ignore real problems. The Stoics weren't about toxic positivity. They were about accuracy. They wanted you to see things clearly, without the emotional distortion. Let's make this practical. Imagine Sarah. She wakes up to find her car has a flat tire. Her old pattern of perception goes like this. "Great, just great. This is the worst. My whole day is ruined. Why does this always happen to me?" She's angry before she's even out of bed. Her entire nervous system is flooded with stress hormones. The rest of her day becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy of frustration. Now, let's give Sarah the Stoic lens. She sees the flat tire. She pauses. She asks herself the warrior's question. What is the fact here, stripped of my judgment? The fact. The tire is flat. Not a fact. This is terrible. Not a fact. My day is ruined. Not a fact. I'm unlucky. Just, the tire is flat. From this neutral space, Sarah can respond rather than react. Okay, I have a flat. I can call for help, change it myself, or catch a ride. It's inconvenient, but it's solvable. This doesn't define my day. I do. This is the power of disciplined perception. You're not denying reality. You're refusing to make it worse with catastrophic thinking. Epictetus taught his students, it's not things that upset us, but our judgments about things. When you lose focus in life, it's often because you're overwhelmed by your interpretations, not by reality itself. Here's your practice. For the next week when something bad happens, stop and separate the fact from your judgment. Write it down if you need to. Fact, my project got rejected. Judgment, I'm a failure. This is not a fact. Fact, my friend didn't reply to my text. Judgment, they hate me now. This is not a fact. When you strip away the judgments, you reclaim your mental energy. You stop wasting focus on imaginary disasters. You see clearly, and clear vision is the foundation of discipline. The second lesson is about what you want and why you're scattered in the first place. The Stoics called this the discipline of desire, and it cuts to the heart of why modern life feels so chaotic. You're not unfocused because you lack willpower. You're unfocused because you're chasing 1,000 different things that don't actually matter to you. You're living by desires that aren't even yours. Seneca warned about this constantly. He wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." We're addicted to more. More money, more followers, more likes, more stuff, more status, more achievements. We're on a hedonic treadmill, running faster and faster, getting nowhere. The Stoics had a radical solution: want less, or more precisely, want different things. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." The Emperor of Rome, the most powerful man in the world, reminding himself that he doesn't need more, he needs better thinking. Here's the framework. The Stoics divided desires into 3 categories. Category 1, natural and necessary. These are the basics: food, water, shelter, meaningful connection, purpose. These desires are healthy. They keep you alive and thriving. Category 2, natural but unnecessary. These are things like gourmet food, a big house, luxury items. They're not bad, but they're not necessary. Pursuing them is fine, but attaching your happiness to them is a trap. Category 3, unnatural and unnecessary. This is where we lose ourselves. The desire for fame, for domination over others, for endless wealth, for validation from strangers on the internet. These desires are manufactured by culture. They're bottomless pits. You can never get enough because enough doesn't exist. Let's meet James. James is 35. He works 70-hour weeks at a job he hates. Why? Because he's chasing Category 3 desires. He wants the corner office, the luxury car, the Instagram-worthy life. He thinks that once he achieves these things, he'll finally be happy and focused. But here's the trap. He gets the promotion, and after 2 weeks, the high fades. He buys the car, and 3 months later, he barely notices it. He posts his vacation, gets 500 likes, and feels empty an hour later. He's exhausted, scattered, and still unfulfilled because he's optimizing his life for desires that can never be satisfied. Now imagine James discovers the discipline of desire. He does the Stoic audit. He writes down everything he's currently chasing and asks the hard question: do I actually want this, or do I want it because I think I'm supposed to? The corner office? That's about status, about what people think. Category 3. The luxury car? It's just transportation with extra cost and stress. Category 2 at best. The Instagram life? Pure validation seeking. Category 3. What does James actually want? He realizes time with his daughter, energy to pursue his photography hobby, a sense of contribution, peace of mind, health, genuine friendships. These are Category 1 desires. They're real, they're nourishing, and they're achievable. So James makes a radical shift. He takes a lower-paying job with better hours. He sells the car and gets something reliable and cheap. He deletes Instagram for a month. His income drops, but his focus skyrockets. He's no longer scattered across 1,000 pointless pursuits. He knows exactly what he values, and he structures his life around it. This is the discipline of desire. It's about becoming the master of your wanting rather than its slave. Seneca put it perfectly. He who is not satisfied with a little is satisfied with nothing. Here's your practice. Make a list of everything you're currently pursuing: your goals, your wants, your daily pursuits. Then categorize them honestly. How many are category 3? How many are things you don't even really want, but you're chasing them because everyone else is? Cut the category 3 desires. They're the reason you're scattered. Focus on category 1 and watch your life snap into clarity. We've fixed your perception. We've clarified your desires. Now comes the moment of truth, the discipline of action. This is where philosophy becomes reality. This is where you prove to yourself that you've changed. The Stoics were obsessed with action. Not theory, not debate, not endless planning, action. Epictetus said it best. Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You can have perfect clarity and noble desires, but if you don't act, nothing changes. You're still the same person living the same scattered life. Marcus Aurelius, writing to himself in the middle of military campaigns, constantly pushed himself to act. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. The discipline of action is built on 3 pillars. Pillar 1, start now, not when you're ready. You'll never feel ready. Confidence is not a prerequisite for action. It's the result of it. The warrior acts despite fear, despite doubt, despite imperfection. Pillar 2, do what's in front of you. Don't obsess about the master plan. Focus on the next right step. Marcus wrote, concentrate on the task before you as if it were your last. Not the task after that, or the big goal 3 years from now. This task, right now. Pillar 3, measure progress in repetition, not results. You don't control outcomes, you control your actions. Success is showing up again and again, regardless of the result. Let's meet Rachel. Rachel has wanted to write a book for 5 years. 5 years of someday. 5 years of when I'm ready. 5 years of when I have time. She's read books about writing books. She's bought journals. She's fantasized about the book tour. But she hasn't written a single chapter. Why? Because she's waiting. Waiting for inspiration, for a clear outline, for the perfect writing space, for a sign from the universe. She's stuck in deliberation, analysis paralysis, fear disguised as preparation. Then Rachel learns the discipline of action. She commits to the smallest possible move, 10 minutes of writing every single morning. That's it. Not a chapter, not 2,000 words, just 10 minutes. The first day, she writes 3 sentences. They're terrible, but they exist. Day 2, she writes a paragraph. Day 5, she writes 2 pages and loses track of time. Day 30, she has 15 pages. Day 90, she has a rough first draft of 3 chapters. What changed? She stopped waiting for the perfect moment and created momentum through action. She stopped measuring success by finishing the book and started measuring it by, did I write today? The answer, day after day, was yes. This is the warrior's secret. Discipline isn't about massive willpower or heroic effort. Discipline is repetition. It's doing the small thing consistently, even when you don't feel like it. Epictetus taught, if you want to be a writer, write. Not think about writing, not read about writing. Write. The action creates the identity. You become what you repeatedly do. Here's your practice. Choose one area of your life that feels scattered and unfocused. Identify the smallest possible action you can take. Set a timer for 10 minutes. Do only that thing. Then do it again tomorrow. And the next day. And the next. Don't worry about the outcome. Don't judge the quality. Just show up. The Stoics knew that consistency, not intensity, builds character. Marcus Aurelius. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Your resistance, your fear, your excuses, they're not stopping you. They're showing you exactly where you need to act. So here's where we are. You started scattered, distracted, living a life shaped by external noise and internal chaos. You were reacting instead of choosing, chasing desires that weren't yours, stuck in your head instead of in the world. Now you have three disciplines. The discipline of perception taught you to see clearly, to separate fact from judgment, to stop making everything worse with catastrophic thinking. The discipline of desire showed you what to want, how to cut through the cultural noise, how to focus on what's real and let go of what's hollow. The discipline of action gave you the path forward, not through grand plans or perfect conditions, but through small, consistent, focused action in the present moment. This is how you refocus your life. Not by doing more, but by doing what matters. Not by wanting more, but by wanting wisely. Not by waiting for clarity, but by creating it through disciplined action. The person who was drowning in distractions now knows exactly where to place their attention. The person who was chasing everything now pursues what's essential. The person who was frozen in planning now moves with purpose, one step at a time. This is the Stoic way. It's not easy, but it's simple. It's not about perfection, but about practice. It's not about controlling the world, but about mastering yourself. You already have everything you need. The question is, will you use it? If these ancient lessons resonated with you and you want more practical philosophy for modern life, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. The path to a focused life starts with a single choice. Make it now. The power to refocus your life isn't out there. It's in here, in your perception, your desires, your actions. Choose discipline, choose focus, choose now. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more videos to explore the mind and transform your life.